Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In this video, I am going to talk about some of the insane bullshit that you can encounter when you're dealing with a Christian. This all came about because I was watching an atheist experience video, which I should know better because that's just loaded with all kinds of stupidity. But I had left this comment on a video. First of all, Numbers 23:19, God is not a man nor a son of a man. This means Jesus cannot be God. Second, at no time in the Old Testament does the gods say worship another as God or else. In fact, the Old Testament God would slaughter shitloads of people if they even looked at another God. But then all of a sudden Jesus comes along and all that shit magically vanishes? Convoluted bullshit. This person underneath me that I don't know what the fuck their name is supposed to be, but be that as it may, did a yes, but. And here's a bit of heads up for anyone that isn't aware of this. Anytime somebody says something and then they say, but, ignore everything they said before the but. Because the but is going to change everything. That's something this person can't wrap their head around. Even though there would be no point in them posting a comment if they're simply agreeing with me. But they went, yes, but you see the Old Testament Trinity, Yahweh, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost, was the first covenant. Bullshit! That is absolute bullshit! But they go on to say, Christians believe in second covenant, made by Trinity, Yahweh, Jesus, Holy Ghost. Wait a minute. Didn't they just say that the first covenant was made by this stupid Trinity? That's that first line. But then in the second line, they're claiming that Christians believe second covenant was made by this. But then their third is Mormons were created by Yahweh so that Christians would understand the Jewish attitude toward Christianity / Jesus. That is so stupid. I utterly ignored the Mormon thing in the response to them because it is so stupid. Because Mormonism was created, like all religions, by man, but by a plagiarist and con artist named Joseph Smith that conned people into believing his stupid bullshit. The thing is, to try and claim that the Trinity is somewhere in the Bible is absolute crap. But they'll go on to claim in this about that I'm an interesting interpretation. I just want to state this straight up for everybody. I don't interpret shit. Because interpretation refers to the task of drawing an inference from the collected facts after an analytical or experimental study. Or the task of interpretation has two major aspects. One, the effort to establish continuity in research through linking the results of a given study with those of another. Two, the establishment of some kind of explanatory concepts. I don't do interpretation. The most I will do is I'll tell you, like with the Bible, I'll go into what do the words on the fucking page say. Like, it's not an interpretation to say that it says God is not a man nor son of a man. I'm not interpreting shit when I say that. I'm simply quoting the words that are on the goddamn page. You can see it for yourself. No interpretation necessary. Simply read it. The words are right in front of you. You don't have to extrapolate or draw any inferences. You can read the words on the page as easily as I can. Providing, of course, you can read. Which sometimes I wonder if Christians can. The thing is, to try and claim that there is a Trinity in the Bible, in any Old Testament or New, is absolute crap. Because the word Trinity simply does not appear. Let me try to capture. Okay. I wanted to get so that I can show everyone what I'm talking about. Because I want you to see this for yourself. Because I want there to be no question that what I am saying is the truth. Because you can test this with an e-sword yourself simply by going into the binoculars part and typing in Trinity. No verse is found. And you can see, you can do all words even. Does not exist. So to claim, as this person does, that the Trinity was the first covenant. No, it was not. It wasn't even the second. The concept of the Trinity is something the church came up with. It is not, the word Trinity is not used ever in the Bible. It was never used by Jesus. It was never used by anyone in the Bible, in the text. The thing is, let's go into the, and let me pull back up just for everybody. Oh crap. Okay. Helps if I there is the occurrences of the word covenant is found in 272 verses, and there's 292 matches. The thing is, what I really want to draw your attention to is the aspect of this. The first covenant was an everlasting covenant. You don't need a second covenant when the first one is an everlasting covenant. And the truth of the matter is, this everlasting covenant shit really, this story comes down to being no more real than the Native American story of the first fire. And that explains how raccoons, that they're black around their eyes. Because in the Native American story of the first fire, the gods had the fire and it was stolen by a raccoon who ran in and had a stick in its mouth, and the flames were burning at its eyes, hence the black around the eyes. It's an amusing little story, and it can give, looking at it and being, that's why raccoons have black around their eyes. Yeah, sure, But the aspect of this everlasting covenant, what it was dealing with was rain, floods, and the idea that this God wouldn't flood the world again. That's all it was referring to. It had nothing to do with sin, nothing to do with salvation, because those ideas don't really come about until Christianity. Because in the Old Testament, the God figure is very, very specific. It does shit to prove whether or not you're going to follow what it says. It's not taking anything on faith. It's sure as hell not setting up any rival gods or any other gods for people to bow down to. Certainly not a fucking Jesus. The thing is, part of what dealing with the person that I was makes me think of is the picture you see, Jesus fucking Christ. Because the truth of the matter is, they want to make up convoluted bullshit. But what really gets, and you can see in my response, I am giving them a Bible lesson, which is typical for what I do. And I pointed out there is no Jesus in the Old Testament. Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, one, not three. Do you not understand the difference between mono and poly? Which is referring to monotheism versus polytheism. Polytheism being the worship of multiple gods, much like Hinduism. And that the first covenant was an everlasting covenant. You don't need a second when you have an everlasting. I also went on to point out Jesus is called the Son of Man 89 times in the New Testament. And Numbers 23:19, God is not a man or son of a man. Jesus is not God. To further blow your pea brain, Lucifer means morning star, which I can establish for everyone by bringing up this and going to Isaiah 14:12. Helps if I'm on the right. Anyway, Isaiah 14:12. This is the only place in the entire Bible the word Lucifer is used. And what you will see is the word Lucifer itself means the morning star. Now, what's interesting about this is there's only one person in the entire Bible that ever says that they are the morning star. And that you can see with this. I, Jesus, have sent mine angels to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and offspring of David. Bullshit. The bright and morning star. Also, if you factor in the idea of, I think it's Revelation 14 or it's stated that Revelation 14:10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented in fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. The only way that it would be in the presence of these beings would be if these beings would also be in hell. So if there is a hell and all that happy shit, Jesus has to be there. Not to mention the aspect of the Lamb is really distorting what Passover was about, because Passover was never about sin. It was not about salvation or sin. It was about the God murdering firstborn babies. It's about infanticide. That the lamb was killed, cooked, and eaten, and the blood put on the door so that the angel of death would pass over the house. Hence it being called Passover. The thing is, what you run into with people like this here is they really don't know their Bible. Truthfully, they don't. And they want to try and act like they can refute something. The thing is, at no time in any of this do they even try to argue a point with the Bible. They never quote the Bible like I do, which is one of the reasons why Christians absolutely hate when I use the Bible. Because I've had Christians ask me, why do you quote from the Bible if you don't believe it? It's not about me believing it. It's about talking about a subject that is in question. And I've used the comparison of, if I'm going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm going to refer to the movies. Or if I'm going to talk about Star Wars, I'm going to talk about Star Wars movies. Because that is what is quote-unquote canon in that story. If it If I'm talking about a fictional story, I'm going to refer to the fictional story itself. A text or movie where ideas related to the story are put out. Because outside of the story, there is no basis for any of this. Just like if I would be talking about the Highlander, it would have to be established, are we talking movie or TV series? But either way, it would be based on what is, to use the term canon, what is in the story. And it's the same with the Bible. It's the same with all of that shit. If you're talking about concepts and ideas that are part of a fictional story, you have to refer to the fictional story where the ideas about it come from. Otherwise, what are you basing anything on? But they try to use the aspect of, because I refer to them as stupid and so forth, that's an ad hominem. No, it's not an ad hominem. It's an observation based on what they're saying and doing. It's more of an observation than an ad hominem. But going with that, they're going more toward a buzzword. They know the word, ooh, the ad hominem, that's a buzzword I know, and I can just toss out buzzwords and sound like I know what I'm talking about. No, it doesn't work that way. Just like trying to say about, it's an interesting interpretation. I'm not interpreting shit. I'm pointing out what is on the page, what's written. And the conclusions that I come to, as far as I see it, they're irrefutable, because that's the nature of what is being expressed. Like, Christianity is all about the worship of this Jesus character, and who gives a damn about the God? Jesus replaces God in the New Testament. But if you're going to have somebody that is wanting to deceive and trick people, they're not going to show up, even as a child, looking like that. That's from what would be the black-eyed children. But if you would see a child, most people, when they think of children, they think of innocence and so forth. But if you see a child that looks like that, you're not going to be at peace. You're going to be on your guard. You're going to be defensive. Because every fiber of our being would look at that and go, something is wrong. This is not normal. If you're going to have a Jesus wanting to deceive people and pretend to be a god, it's not going to come at you looking like some hideous and it's certainly not going to say, I hate you, I want to kill you. The way Christians want to put forward in their idiotic brain of how this devil supposedly acts. If a devil would exist, it would not come like a raving fucking lunatic. It would come with, I'm here to help you. I'm here to love you. I'm here to save you. The term a con artist is really termed a confidence artist, because their initial intent is to win your confidence. because then when they win your confidence, they can trick you into buying into whatever bullshit they're trying to do. It is not about them wanting to actually help you. And this brings up something that I actually encountered on YouTube, and it gives me a chance to basically give a shout out to a YouTube channel that I really like. Not this text bullshit, because that's a scammer, but YouTube supports scammers. Because this person, as you can clearly see, the picture is the same as Angry Cops. And Angry Cops was a drill sergeant who was in the military, so forth. He does awesome videos. You guys should check him out. But I tried reporting this other account as fake, that they're trying to impersonate Angry Cops. And when I put it in to report the user, YouTube had said that Angry Cops channel doesn't exist. Really, YouTube, it doesn't exist, yet it has 1.2 million subscribers, and this text scammer has 14 subscribers, and their account exists too. Clearly, YouTube is about protecting scammers. And like I do with the religious shit, I'm not interpreting anything. I'm showing you what is clearly there. But that was something that I had actually found Angry Cops on Facebook and sent him a picture of this just to bring it to his attention, because this text at dumbass responded to a comment I left on one of Angry Cops' videos of having won some bullshit. And I called him a scammer and so forth. But I wanted to draw this to the attention of Angry Cops, and I did through Facebook, so he can take action against this other YouTube, this fake YouTube channel that's trying to scam his followers. But that's something I want to point it out, because it is something that I see it on various content creators, that you have con artists, scammers, wanting to act like you won something. So they want you to do X because you won a prize. This is the same thing that Christians are doing with their Jesus, and that their Jesus is doing. That he's all about giving you this salvation thing. But you have to claim your prize. It's a scam. It is intended to trick you. And if you're going to fall for it, you're going to be conned by the con artist. But if you look at all of the clues around you and around the ideas regarding this Bible shit and so forth, and even the God of the Bible, the ideas of Christianity fall flat on their face. It does not work. But the truth of the matter is, Christians don't do their homework. They don't dig into this. They don't examine. And if there would be something that would be interested in deceiving you, it's not going to come at you like a raving fucking lunatic. It's going to come at you trying to look like something you trust and acting as if it's going to give you something. But the whole time it has no intention of giving you a damn thing, but only taking from you. This is where my whole intent with my YouTube channel is to wake people up to the scam that is being done by the religious, by the left, by anyone that I come across that is trying to pull off a scam, a fast one. But feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And yes, by all means, I like angry cops because it goes back to my being in the military. It's something that I can definitely relate to. And if you are former military yourself or just like comedy, he's very funny. You should check out his channel, Angry Cops. But feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Later, people.